everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Jagged Edge. It's Ian here, along with Chris.
Hey. Hi, everybody.
Hey. Episode 92. Man, 8 more of these.
We're getting there, but we have a lot of weekends we're taking off here in the next couple months, so it's still going to be a little longer yet.
Yeah, slowing down a little bit, but media, gaming, movies, and all that stuff, as always, that is not going to slow down.
We got the scoop!
Inside scoop! Well, I wish we had the inside scoop.
Is that the slogan now? We got the scoop?
I like the scoop. I like the scoop.
We got your scoops!
You could take that a step further and start scooping Haagen-Dazs, but I won't complain.
See, now when I say that, though, I think 2 scoops with Raisin Bran. I'm thinking the Sun with the big scoops. I used to see. I was weird. I ate Raisin Bran when I was a kid. Loved it.
Raisin Bran's good, man.
Yeah, but that's weird for a kid. Usually, they just want a bowl full of sugar with coloring.
See, they looked at me funny when I'd go in McDonald's and I'd ask for a salad along with my stuff when I was little.
That is weird.
I do that. Yeah,
that's weird though. That's like way weirder than Raisin Bran as a kid.
Yeah.
To be a kid and walk into McDonald's with their McNuggets and their burgers and like, I want a salad. Are you sure you don't want fries?
I mean, I had my nuggets, but I wanted a salad too, man. My thing had a healthy appetite. They should have known. They're like right there. See, that kid's gonna be a quad player. It's that weirdo.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh boy! Hey everybody! Look, hey, thank you for tuning in once again. We have a loaded week.
The scoops.
It has plenty of scoops. I got 1 scoop of raisins in my right hand. You got the left hand scoop. All right, put them together. We're good. We're good.
Okay.
We haven't slowed down at all the pace of the news cycle here. We don't have a laid back week this week. There's a whole lot to talk about. Both of us are recently coming off of Captain Marvel. If you had a chance to listen to our reviews, if you didn't, please do hop on over. We've got a short review for that, and we have a long form review where we expand our thoughts on it.
Oh my gosh!
Again, this is our last MCU movie before the second part to Infinity War, before Endgame. So if you've been following Marvel, this is a time to tune in. But we're going to dive in on this episode and talk more about the surrounding controversy that's been surrounding Captain Marvel. Unless you've been under a rock or something,
that's been surrounding too much stuff.
Too much, and it's finally bled into Marvel. And I say finally. I say finally because I think the MCU on the whole has really kept its head above water with a lot of this stuff. It hasn't gotten mired in a whole lot of this, but I guess sooner or later. So what are you going to do? And usually there's topics like this and things that we don't always go into, but this has just gotten to such a massive level. It's time to talk about it. So
it is. We've been saying for a while that this. These controversies with this kind of animosity towards I'll say I think a good way to say it in general sexist behaviors, be it whichever side you're on, has just gotten to a boiling point.
Yeah.
And it's messing with my Marvel movies. Get out of there.
Yeah.
All of you, just get out of there.
Shoo. I hear that, man. But hey, let's take a look at our trailers first. We got a couple of new releases on the way here, and some new trailers. First up, right on the list here, we got a hot new Shazam trailer. Now, bear in mind, this is going to be in theaters April 5th, right around the corner. Still looks fun. Still looks super fun.
The original Captain Marvel.
Yeah, true. You're not lying. You're not lying.
No, from forever ago, who most people who are complaining about weren't even alive, and neither were their parents. This is fun. It's pretty much most of what we've already seen. There's a couple more things in here. I believe, despite Warner Brothers and DC's attempts to basically not have a giant connected universe, I do believe that this is in that large connected universe, though, the DCEU, as it's still commonly referred to. I do believe that despite these changes, this still takes place in that world. Will it mean anything? I don't think so at this point. In fact, I think they'll make a point of that not making a difference. This looks like fun. I would be more interested if they were still trying to continue on with a larger shared universe. But this still just looks just as fun.
Sure.
You know, I remember when we first started hearing about Shazam and seeing teaser trailers and such that the common term was, you know, this is the lighter movie that world needed.
Yes.
I guess it still does. I don't know, but you know, we'll see. I think when you start taking in, look, yes, Shazam, Captain Marvel, they've been around forever. This is not an A-level superhero in the DC universe. So, and that's all they've been basically messing with up until this point.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see if it needs it or not. I think it can stand on its own if they do it right. They're definitely pushing the whole, you know, it's a kid in a superhero's body and the goofiness that comes from that. That by itself can push a movie through. So, you know, we'll see. But yeah, lots of fun.
No, for sure.
What do you call him? Captain Sparklefingers?
Captain Sparklefingers.
That's fun. I want to be Captain Sparklefingers. I want to be Captain Jazz Hands.
You know, you could just go ask for Jubilee's powers.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, those are worthless. What was that? What was that anyways? What was her actual mutant ability?
I literally thought it was just fireworks, man.
Really? Is that so? You saw that in the cartoon, like that's what you thought it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this sounds like a perfect time to go ask Mr. Google.
Oh man.
Well, you go ahead and move on to the next thing.
Okay.
I will find.
If you could, please. 'Cause you know what? It's just funny. Jubilee's just one of those characters I just never dug into a whole lot. I was just kind of accepted at face value. I'm like, oh, cool. Sparkles. All right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they should just call her Sparkles. Sparkles.
As Chris pulls up that list of abilities, which we're going to be talking about in a sec, we got the final season trailer for Game of Thrones. This is going to start April 14th. It's next month here. Now, I was saying before the show, you know, I have never followed Game of Thrones. Have you ever seen a full season or anything like that?
I have not seen a full season. Game of Thrones has been on my list of things to watch when it was completed. There was an attempt on my part behind the scenes here for the channel to try to maybe get reviews for each season done leading up to the last season. Nobody bit. Nobody bit. So
yeah.
Look, it's a lot, and the show's
is.
got a reputation. And that's not to say that it's bad, but it's a reputation of, you know, your heroes will die. It's very gruesome. Everybody knows about the Red Wedding. So I get it. You know, I get why people may not want to just jump on that train. But you know, this has been a huge show. It's been a massive show. It's been a groundbreaking show.
Yeah.
It's really cool with the medieval and the dragons and the knights and the undead. And it's going to be all about the undead, is my understanding, going into this last season with the wall and the winter zombie things. And I know I'm doing a good job here. Sparkles. But I mean, it looks great. It does look awesome. Sure. I don't really understand everything that's going on in the trailer, but yeah, you know, this is huge. It's the last season. At this point, the TV show has surpassed the books as far as storyline, which is something that I always wonder about myself, being a big Walking Dead fan. When or if they're going to either go down a different route or surpass them. Doesn't look like they're ever going to surpass the comics as far as story, as far as being ahead of them. But yeah, so the ending that you see here in the TV show may not be the ending in the books. In fact, I think it was in last season is when they finally moved beyond the books as far as story.
Wow.
But yeah, fun, you know, fun, cool stuff. I'm sure everyone's going to die.
Probably. And bear in mind, I mean, look, this is something. The long form. This is season 8. I believe what we're looking at. With
yeah.
This
This is last season.
Golly.
And they took almost an extra year to make this season.
Wow. So, you know, my history of Game of Thrones goes this far. This is the only time I've ever seen any of it. Someone told me to tune into a buddy of mine way back. Do you remember what was it they call it? The bloody wedding scene?
Yeah, I think it's Red Wedding.
Yeah, Red Wedding. Thank you. The Red Wedding.
I did just say that a minute ago.
And I was like, shock value.
It's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah.
That is hard to watch. And I watch dead things eat live things on a weekly basis. and that one was a little rough. I think you would have some serious debates if you say Red Wedding is harsher than the end of season 6.
I thought it was Bloody Wedding.
I'm pretty sure it was Red Wedding.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong.
Whatever.
But what I'm not right about, sir, is Jubilee's powers.
Okay.
Mutant power to generate blinding and explosive energy blasts, what she herself refers to as fireworks.
There you go.
So, okay. Explosive energy blast, that's fireworks, so you were on it.
It counts.
All right. So there you go. If you ever thought, can somebody mix Jubilee and Game of Thrones at the same time? Boom, we did it. Show's done. We're out of here.
Oh man, love it. And she, I could have sworn she had another storyline where she had
powers.
Yeah, some extra powers or something.
I'm sure.
I'm not even going to jump into that. Though,
and she's probably died a couple dozen times.
Of course, that's par for the course, man. You have to. I mean, what is it unless you have your death and return arc?
That's right.
Man,
even for Jubilee.
Real quick, death and return arcs. I think one of the weirdest ones was when Spider-Man. I think this was an Amazing Spider-Man. Was when he gave birth to himself.
I heard about that. I did not. I was not reading at that time.
That was nuts. I was like, I mean, the way it ended up, it was like those of you who played Chrono Trigger or Chrono Cross, kind of like when I think when Surge returned in Chrono Cross would be the best example of that, like seeing Peter Parker like come out of this spider. It's weird. It's weird.
Now I have to look that up on Google.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Spider-Man gives birth.
Spider-Man gives birth to himself. Not a hard title to track, right? Oh boy.
Go right to the images.
As I move on up the list, this is the third and last of our trailers for now. Brightburn. This is by James Gunn, Mr. Guardians of the Galaxy himself. This is going to hit theaters Memorial Day on May 27th. Wow. All I can say is reverse Superman. I didn't have this on my radar at all, man.
No, neither of us did. It popped on mine earlier this week, and I went and checked out. This is the second trailer. There was another one that came out just 2 months ago. This is terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It literally, the story is, what if Superman took the right turn instead of the left turn?
Yep.
And like when he's an adolescent, decides, you know how some weird kids, they start like doing weird things to animals?
Yep.
It's like that, but Superman. So it's scary, man. It's scary as shit. I love it. I absolutely love it. This is definitely on our list to review this year now. It'll be coming up Memorial Day. I mean, even if none of you guys want to go, I'm going. I'll do. But I have a feeling all of us are going to want to see this one. I'm going to show this to Jason and Isaac. They're going to be all over this too, I think.
I get a feeling. So, man, but it's you got to say it's what Batman was warning us about the whole time.
That's true. That's true.
This is his
but I don't know
fear.
if Kryptonite's going to even a thing here.
I don't think it is. No, they're screwed, man. Oh, that's bad.
Well, what do you do?
What do you do? What do you do with that? I mean, like literally imagine, like,
because all you're gonna do is you're just gonna piss him off more.
Yeah, and okay, if Kryptonite's not a thing, we're gonna assume Yellow Sun isn't a thing either.
Right. I mean, yeah. So this doesn't take place in DC or anything, but it's clearly meant as a story of he flies, he has super strength, he's got some kind of heat vision.
Yep.
It's clearly Batman gone bad Superman gone bad as a kid.
Your best hope is a nuke, man.
Yeah, or a Playboy.
Yeah. True.
Just distract them.
True that.
But then he might get angrier.
Yeah.
He's like, I got a super thing going on down below. What's this all about? What am I supposed to do with this thing? And then just get really mad.
Oh man, no, it's all kinds of scary. Ugh.
Yeah.
So, what a twist though. I think this is this is something that's I think set right on the surface that no one has really bothered to take a bite on yet. That is the superhero horror. You always frame superheroes as these majestic like savior figures or figuring out
Yeah.
a super complex problem. But it's like, what if they're just hell bent or just kind of twisted in the head? Like, ugh.
Yeah, well, there's been a couple attempts at it. I think Glass pokes it, or not Glass, but that whole world.
That's fair.
Kind of poked at it a little bit.
That's fair.
Geez, in Blade, no, that's all vampires. There's no superhero stuff in there. Although Blade is a superhero, which, by the way, there are rumors going on again.
Really?
That Marvel will make their first R-rated movie and it will be Blade. I will believe it when I see it.
Same.
Disney has openly said no to R-rated films.
Right.
And they've made some in the past, but I think when it comes to Marvel, they're trying to steer away from that. I think it would be a glorious idea. I absolutely think they should. I mean, we talked about this, I think last week or the week before.
Yeah.
With Blade and Ghost Rider and Punisher and they could have a whole nother. Well, I don't want them to have a whole nother universe, but they could expand off the other one and occasionally mix in between.
Right.
Maybe, hopefully. Hopefully we'll hear more soon. Well, actually, we're not going to hear anything until at least July because Marvel is still. They're not saying an official word about anything about their upcoming movies until Phase 3 is over, until Spider-Man is done. Even though Phase 3 ends with Endgame, the word is they're not going to say anything until after Spider-Man.
And I think that's just even just a sensible boat to be in. I mean, because there's going to be how are you feeling for the fatigue factor? You think there's going to be a little fatigue after we finish the whole Infinity War Chronicle, and then after Spidey, like take a bit of a break, calm it down a minute, keep going. You're good.
Nope,
You're good.
There won't. They've already passed a couple points where we should have seen some fatigue.
Right.
No, they're just good movies.
Yeah, they are.
A lot of people said that after Avengers things would slow down.
Never did.
No, yeah, that was 15 movies ago.
It's crazy when you say it like that.
Yeah, that was 15 and only I think like 5-6 years ago. So yeah, things have not slowed down.
Man,
and they're not going to. I shouldn't say they're not going to. I could eventually see maybe things dying down to the point where they do 2 movies a year.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I don't know. People are genuinely enjoying it. I think this is part of our culture now.
Yeah.
Not that superhero movies haven't been for a long time, but I think it has staked a claim like it hadn't in the past.
It has. The comics have truly come to life, and I think people knowing that they've got that block of films to invest in and have that running storyline to keep up with. I mean. It's almost like your Game of Thrones for the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
In a way,
mm-hmm.
it's amazing, and I can't think of this is outside of just being way outside of being a fan. I can't think of another run of films in a chain like this that's done quite what Marvel's done. It's something else, and I'm so happy to be around in a time to actually see this stuff like this. So
I would love another Blade movie, and I would love it if they did kind of like what the first Hulk movie did. The Incredible Hulk that came out right after Iron Man. If they didn't just do a full reboot, they basically need to do a reboot, but kind of And if you remember back to 2008 when that came out, they didn't declare it a full on reboot. They kind of said, well, this is kind of like a sidestep. Everything that from the previous movie, and you know all this stuff about Bruce Banner and the Hulk already, and so they just kind of moved on with the story from there. They took from that crappy Hulk movie, and they took from the TV show, and they kind of meshed that together. Because I think you can get away with meshing a lot from the previous Blade movies, minus 3. 3, not a great movie.
I hear you.
But at least the first 2, you can take a lot from that. And like Blade could have been around this whole freaking time, and it wouldn't have mattered because he's doing Blade stuff.
Yeah,
killing vampires.
He's doing his thing, man.
I don't know. Do you think Wesley Snipes is too old at this point to play Blade?
Oh man, see,
it's tough. I can't imagine who could take his spot.
That's what sucks about it. Like,
it's as perfect as Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. But just who could fill that void?
I mean, the guy's getting up there now.
How
he really is.
I haven't looked how
I'm already hitting
is.
Google again. This week's episode of Jagged Edge brought to you by Google.
Oh man, but I just can't. I don't know.
Yeah, that's about what I thought. He's 56.
Okay.
He's 56. I think if they were going to do it, and I know a lot of people probably wouldn't like this. I mean, I'm a huge Blade fan too, but we all like our different tastes. But I know there was some kind of storyline introduced at some point where he finds out he has a daughter, and it's a reintroduction. And this is what Marvel was doing with all kinds of superheroes a few years ago. But I think that would be a good opportunity to keep him around and have him be Blade.
Sure.
But also, you got to pass this on to another generation, I think.
That's actually crazy. You siphoned just right out of my head something I was thinking. That I was literally thinking of some kind of successorship.
Yeah.
Or some way you do that. But then I kind of retracted from it because I'm like, wait, does that have any kind of basis? There was a basis. I don't even know if the story got released, but there was a plan. I'd seen artwork for potential plans for a story like that in the comics. Now, by last I say not even the last 2 years. In fact, I think he's going to be in the next Avengers comic coming up here as a guest star. So he's still around kicking ass. But yeah, and I still would want plenty of Blade. Don't go the Star Wars route. And I'm not talking to talk trash here, but embrace your OG characters. Right.
And don't shit all over them. And it still have plenty of Blade, but I think it might be important and good to expand on that a bit more.
I think that would only be fair. This is a character, as you said, that doesn't necessarily have to carry a continuity alongside everybody else or with Avengers and stuff. I mean, like he's got plenty of his own slaying to do, but
and definitely bring Whistler back.
Yes, please.
So great.
Oh man, I miss him.
That was a good character. Came from the movie. Actually, didn't exist in the comics, and that was the first time that a Marvel movie, although there was no MCU at the time, obviously, but a Marvel movie had expanded upon what we saw in other media. And in fact, when Blade guest starred on the Spider-Man animated show in the 90s,
remember that.
They put Whistler in there.
Yep.
First time that had ever happened. So, but yeah, obviously Marvel liked Whistler so much that they was like, okay, that's a thing.
Good times.
That's a thing now.
Good times. I remember that guest star. I also remember when Punisher visited Spidey.
Mm-hmm.
And that was literally a series of Spidey keeping him from just straight up killing over and over.
Vaguely remember that. And then when Jubilee visited, and
right,
she's like, "This fireworks,
sparkles." What was the X-Men crossover? I was really excited when that happened because as a kid growing up in the '90s cartoons and stuff, man, X-Men on Saturday mornings was something I made sure to catch. And then when I saw that, because they hyped that up, it was like on Fox Kids that X-Men was going to be making the crossover with Spider-Man. I was just out of my mind. I'm like, I gotta see that. And of course, hothead Wolverine runs into him first. He scrap a bit, everything calms down, and then he introduces him to Storm and Professor X. I was sick. It was sick. I was so happy with that.
Oh. Yeah, that show though hasn't really, doesn't look all that great now. The theme is still the best.
The theme is legendary. That's not going anywhere.
I hope whoever was doing the themes for those cartoon shows, those Marvel cartoon shows, got awards, because that one and the Spider-Man one are just still today
classic. Yeah. There's few things you can listen to, I think, especially with animated media, instantly identify. Yep, I know what that's from, what that is. So, love it. But, all right,
let's do it.
We're already in the Marvel zone. We're as close as we're gonna get. So hey, it's a good at a time as any, as we said at the top of the show. All of this stuff that's surrounding Captain Marvel, like let's take a look at this. So surrounding the release, and anywhere you go online, if you just read a bit about Captain Marvel, you're likely going to see something about which group is boycotting it, or who's not going to see it based on this, or based on man-hating and things like that. It's everywhere, and it's not too hard to find the information as to why. But let's build this up a bit. Let's just establish the why. So if I have this right, the comments originated from Brie Larson when she it was at an awards event. She was commenting on Wrinkle in Time. It didn't have anything to do with Captain Marvel. There in my universe.
Yeah, in fact, I don't even think Captain Marvel came up. Did it?
No, not in that set of comments. She was talking about Wrinkle in Time and made a comment about how she didn't need any 40-something-year-old white dude's opinion telling her, what to think, or why that mattered for that film in that regard. And,
I don't even. Yeah, I remember her comments. I don't even think she said it in that kind of a derogatory term. She basically said that, she didn't want to hear critiques from people for a film that was not made for them.
True.
And look,
that's her message.
Yeah. Well, that and at the same time, wasn't that the same time when she was talking about diversity in movie reviews?
The diversity portion
was that a different time?
That came up for her presser for the Captain Marvel release. She was talking about that more about who she wanted covering her presser tours.
Okay, I could have sworn she said that at that podium as well. But either way, she said it.
Yeah,
she said it either way, and I mean both comments are. Look, obviously, movies are made and geared towards certain people, be it a broad audience or a short audience. That's just people make things, and they make things for people to purchase, and they target certain audiences.
Right.
That's a pretty stupid thing for her to say, because people watch things from other for other groups. How many parents have to sit and watch stupid stuff that kids like.
Yeah. I mean, no, for sure. For context, I put the quote there in our chat if you want to see it. But
you did. Okay, she did actually say something that's quite.
It's direct stuff, and I think here's an important base to have as we start looking at all this. For the most part, I think Marvel have been able to stay sort of above the general fray about all this. You see talks about SJWs and the talks about feminism and toxic attitudes and everything like that, and then which groups are pressed and everything like that, and then you have the pushback coming from both angles. In the same hand, this being brought up, I think at the time where it was, part of me said that when I first heard that, I almost wondered. I said, with her just stepping into Marvel, especially the type of fan base you automatically gain access to when you become part of these movies, and the platform you naturally have when you're going to be looked at under a microscope. I think with stuff like that, and then the way it comes up, and this is something that is just so rife in entertainment culture today, and just culture in general. I think things we're engaging with, it's so difficult to find entertainment or forms of media where we don't delve into this at some point, or we don't get there. I this is a zone that I obviously prefer not to, and something we prefer not to deal with.
Yeah. Look, the general feeling from Ian and I here is that we don't really give a shit.
No.
And you shouldn't. Look, I mean, the people that surround me in my life, there are some who care about these comments, and they'll, I'll have to hear every once in a while, oh, Mark Hamill said, and he's such a, I don't care. And they'll be like, well, Mark Ruffalo said, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. And it's the same thing here with Brie Larson. And quite honestly, on the flip side of that, it's the same thing when it comes to Clint Eastwood or Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Are they hurting people? I mean, look, it's generally accepted that it is a generalization to that point. Not just generally accepted, it is a generalization as well, that people in Hollywood are maybe a step or two off from where most people are. And you have to take what they say with a grain of salt. And the unfortunate thing about it is that Brie Larson had said a couple comments that were really not said very well.
Right.
Well, already there were already shots being fired at her when it came to this film, just because it is a feminist leaning film. Right. In the MCU, and it is the first one with a female lead. Right. And there was the whole thing ever since the first trailer with it saying her and then a hero at first. And there was already people latching onto that and just throwing shit at it from the start, and it just didn't help. And now the question is, did she make these comments knowing full well what could happen and she didn't care, or was she just ignorant towards it? Right. It does, and so I think that's a good question. But at the same time, the immediate question is, who cares?
Yeah, reframing this too. It is not. Look, it's just not a kosher thing to look. You're hating on someone for their gender, their race, their color, whatever it is. That's just something that's just straight up not cool. Just ideally, just don't do it. Right. But when we're looking at entertainment in movies and things like that, I think part of the base from the perspective we come from with that is, at the end of the day, it's a movie. You like it or you don't. I also like to frame this alongside other issues we've had come up in culture today. There's quite a few we have here. Good examples. Look, a couple things from recent history, and I'm not sure why these aren't all on the same platform together. Some of you may remember Liam Neeson and him speaking about his experiences about 40-something years ago. A friend of his, a female friend, had said that she'd been sexually assaulted. She couldn't give him a description exactly. He was enraged by this, of course, and he wanted just to get back whoever did it. And the only details she could really remember or tell is that I just know it was a black man that did it. So he recounted a story of himself, going up and down a quarter of a kind of more dangerous side of town, hoping he got into a conflict, being slightly armed, and hoping he had the chance to exact revenge on the first black guy he came across, so whoever it was. But he came to his senses with that really quick and realized, what am I doing? Why am I even pursuing this? And look, he caught he caught flack in media for this, for entertaining racist fantasies, for a whole diatribe.
Well, there was people were saying that they were going to take him out of MIB International and all this, which is coming up, I think, in July, and they should do this and they should do that. This came and went, and in fact, I had forgotten about it completely until you had brought it up in sometime in this last week. Right. And I'm like, oh, that's right, that was a thing, but it wasn't really a thing, and a lot of what we're seeing is this. This gets perpetuated because clickbait. Yeah, it's clickbait, and this is not a big story. Okay, that's the whole thing. Is that this is something that I think at this point we felt that we wanted to address. This is not a big story. I'm looking at it. I looked it up earlier today. Captain Marvel made $25 million Thursday night alone. Right. Thursday night, which was typically one, sometimes two showings that night. Friday made $61.4 million. Right. All right. So it's already almost $90 million, and there's still 2 days left this weekend. Yeah, it's on track. Yeah, it's on track for that ridiculous $150 million that I even said I didn't think it was going to get. Right. Because it's as we record this, it's Saturday. This is like the biggest day off for most people. Yeah. So it hasn't even been the biggest release day yet. So, all it needs to do is have another day like Friday, which can it do on a Saturday? Yeah. Sure. It can do it. So, it's and I find it disgusting. And there was some times this week when, because we're obviously on YouTube, we're on this platform, we enjoy what we do, but I'm just, there's just such toxic shit on about this week, and I'm like, God, I seriously questioned for the first time since we've been doing this, should we be on this platform? Right. Because there's so much garbage to the point where, and I actually, and this brings up a whole other can of worms that maybe we need to talk about someday. YouTube changed their algorithm so that when people were looking, when they were searching for Brie Larson and such, it wasn't bringing up all that clickbait hate garbage.
Wow.
It was actually bringing up it was bringing up accredited newsfeed stories first. That could be a greater issue, though. That's true. I understand why YouTube did that.
Right.
I don't know if I like or appreciate that, though.
Yeah. Now we're starting to get into a big conversation like media dialogues and gatekeepers and things like that. That's
editing people, and
that's dense.
But I can't. At the same time, there's part of me that understands why they did it.
Sure.
Because I mean, some of the videos and some of the trash that has been coming out about Captain Marvel, but you see it at other times for general SJW hate.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, I'm an open-minded person. I don't, unless somebody is doing something that is hurting another person, I don't really care. If they're of a different religion or a different race or a different background, not only do I not care typically just because of that, I'm a little intrigued because hey, that's a world I don't know or understand, and I will generally be interested in learning more. I definitely don't hate it because it's different. I definitely don't get to the point of thinking, well, I must be against that so that I'm about something else. And what? That's dumb.
Yeah, when you see all the flags and banners for the boycotts and different things, set up around this, and people say, well, it's going to peter off after the weekend, it's going to crash, it's going to do terrible. My hope would be, I come back to this as looking at entertainment media. My hope would be.
By the way, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead,
I just want to say real quick. When I went to the theater and saw this yesterday, so we could review it.
Sure.
There were a lot of just white males there by themselves who went to go see a Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. There were as many of those as there were groups of people who went, like family or whatever, couples or. And by the way, for the first showing of the day, which is what I usually end up having to catch to do the reviews, which are typically pretty empty, the theater was 3/4 full.
There you go.
I mean, this, and I live in one of the whitest states in the country, so nobody cared. Well, let me rephrase: the overwhelmingly vast majority of people did not care.
My hope would be, as Marvel fans too, and people who have followed this amazing run of films for golly, like over like a decade, like at least like of awesome at this point, leading up to that this is something that we could rise above as far as an entertainment, and again with it, being a film and looking at it in that regard. I say it like this too: it's so easy to get on a slippery slope with these types of things. It's part of the boycott language out there. Also, well, Brie Larson's saying that. Well, she obviously hates me. She hates my kids, so I'm not going to give her my money. Okay, well, problem is, look, you subscribe to that. Probably be best to do the same thing for the next Infinity War movie too.
Well, and the other 6 that she's going to be in, because she has a 7-movie deal with
and the other 6. And at some point, people, I think we got to question. Look, as far as our sensibilities and where we get offended with things, and where that comes in, and where we draw the line, how much do we want to let that completely kill something we've genuinely enjoyed and genuinely invested in after one person? I am not for anything that turns us against each other. Look, one of the things I love, that I've had so much fun about the Marvel films, is out of anything I go and see, all the time in theater, I've struck up random conversations with people who were in to see the same thing I am, and they nerd out as much as I do about this stuff, and we'll just shoot the breeze just for a second about it. So maybe a couple minutes or so after, or just beforehand. But it's that spirit of this that we've all enjoyed, and I find it hard to see this incident ending this franchise for me, making me not see Infinity War, the next part to it. I don't see that.
It's not going to do that for anyone. It's not going to do that for anyone. And I mean, there's some shames that I got to hand out here. I'm going to do it. Shame on all those clickbaiting motherfuckers who are putting up these trash videos and for clicks, And I would say that there's probably a handful of them who genuinely believe the crap that they're spewing, but just generating so much hate and animosity and so much ignorant shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I don't think I've ever said this on the show, but maybe I have. But if not, this will be the first time I do it, and I'm going to tell him the Ragnarok story.
Oh, okay.
I went to see Thor Ragnarok, and 2 seats over to my right, there was a guy sitting over there, to my right, and it's near the end of the movie where Thor is on the throne waiting for Hela to show up, and he makes the comments of, and he pauses halfway through, and he goes, basically it says along the lines of, why you're not worthy of this throne. And the guy to my right, who, by the way, had not said anything, I'm not speaking to him. We have not said a word to each other, okay? But he just spits out of his mouth after he says that, because you're a woman. And I looked over, and by the way, he says this to himself. He's not sitting there with anyone else. He felt he needed to say that. And I just looked over, and I'm just thinking to myself, I didn't know they made people like you anymore. I can't. What? We live in this hypersensitive time right now, and there's a lot of reasons for it, and everyone's got a megaphone. But guys, none of that ever meant that your comments are more important than anyone else's.
Right.
And we all have feels, but really, I mean, if you honestly feel that somebody is lesser because of their gender or because of their skin or because of their religion, you really need to just stop. You just need to stop it and go talk to somebody about it.
I don't
or just stop it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way to frame it, dude. I mean, the other concern here is, when I talk about the slippery slope, is I think how as people we can wall ourselves off so badly engaging in this to the bitter extreme. If our first visceral reaction is to want to completely boycott, throw a similar level of hate back at something or whatever else, look, we're going to get caught in this cycle of just disengaging from a lot of entertainment as a whole. Good example of Viggo Mortensen, who played Strider. There was a panel where he was speaking about a film, and he used the N-word. He later apologized for it. Terry Rossio, one of the writers from Shrek, again, that came up in the conversation he was having, which he later, recounted and everything like that. Look, I could go and say, I'm never going to watch anything with Viggo Mortensen again because of that incident, and I don't want to see Shrek. I don't want to. We can keep going with this until I fold in on myself.
Right, exactly. People can just keep trying to push this propaganda, which is making little to no difference. Except for it's just building up the animosity. Now I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you?
Oh, one other thing, real quick.
Go ahead. Because I wanted to comment on this. I'm not done yet.
You'll build right on it. The issue with all of that compounding and folding back on yourself with those types of arguments and wanting to just stop everything at that point is, you got to look back and say, okay, well, how are we going to be equivocal with this? The thing is, when those comments happen, and when similar things happen, when we talk about man hating and other stuff like that, I have not seen the same level of defense for all of these incidents happen the way that they do. My thing is, look, if that's going to be the measuring stick, and it has to be that across the board, then apply that across the board. But we're not seeing that. So much of this stuff gets passed by, but it's like some of the most hot button ones, they get cherry picked, and we get these issues that rise to the top and just explode in such a corrosive way to where it's reductive, it's banal, it's pejorative, and doesn't add anything else to the overall talk and anything else to the movie, for that matter. And at the end of the day, I look at this stuff, entertainment with the lenses like, I'm putting that in the back seat. Like, it's a movie, I like it or I don't.
Right. So, now to add on to that, because I don't want to feel like I'm coming from a one-sided perspective on this.
Sure.
If you're someone like Brie Larson, you need to script your phrases a little, not even just a little, a lot better. All right.
Yeah.
There was something important to be said about a lack of diversity when it comes to reviews and the people who are doing reviews. Sure. I don't think anyone would disagree. Well, maybe some. Let me say again, the vast majority of people will not. I mean, given the statistics and given the facts on that, the vast majority of people would probably say, "Yeah."
You see the core of what she's getting at,
right?
Yeah.
But she doesn't need to surround that good, important fact with garbage all around it.
No,
because that's what people latched onto, and that's how people. That's how that comment got phrased of, this film wasn't made for you.
Right.
Or, you're a white male, your opinion doesn't matter. That kind of hyperbole is unneeded anywhere. But
right.
she kind of brought that on herself because she had an opportunity to say something very constructive and try to push for something more positive. And she did that, but very poorly with all the other shit she surrounded it with.
Yeah.
And, if you're a public figure, you need to be aware of those things. Especially when, she had to have been aware that she's already getting shots at her just because of the marketing that had been coming out for Captain Marvel already.
It goes back to the platform issue and what you have access to when you step into certain realms. It's one thing to say I was ignorant of it, I didn't know, but with the types of spaces we have today and the space entertainment culture occupies, it's not an answer that flies.
But ultimately I think for the general public, for the non-clickbaiting people and for people who aren't in movies, but for the vast majority of people, guys, chill the fuck out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These are people who are saying things that have no real effect on your life. What they're talking about has no real effect in your life. I mean, it's entertainment. This is entertainment stuff. This is actually in large part why we here at KSOL tend to steer away from a lot of this stuff. We don't talk about entertainers. We talk about entertainment. And that's the big difference that we do. We'll talk about the movies coming out, the TV shows coming out. We will rarely talk about the actors and the gossip and the all that stuff. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. I want to talk about what cool things coming out, what cool game is being developed.
Yeah.
Now, I think probably the juiciest stuff we do tend to get into around here is when it comes to game developers. Oh, that's so much
true.
Fun, that's a lot of fun though.
It's right for the picking.
But but seriously, this stuff just go. Do you look for those of you who are maybe even mad at us right now? Do you want to go see Captain Marvel? I mean, Jen, be honest with yourself. You obviously can't answer me right here now. Do you want to go see Captain Marvel? Go see Captain Marvel. Go see it. Is there some feminist messaging in there? Yes. Is it maybe 5-10% of that movie? If you like watching the MCU movies, go see it. It's fun. But if you don't, all right. But you're going to miss out. And if you, like you were saying before, Ian, if you're going to make that statement, then you shouldn't go see Endgame.
Right.
And you shouldn't go see the other 5 movies that they're going to have her in as Captain Marvel. And that's stupid. That's dumb. You're going to stand on this hill with a bunch of other assholes who are just grumpy and making each other miserable, talking about horrible things.
Or come on back and nerd out.
Yeah.
Golly,
if an actor or somebody or something is happening that's genuinely hurting people,
right?
All right, then I'll grab a pitchfork for me too.
Sure.
But that's not this.
No. There are times where there's a line to be drawn instead of just rolling over and accepting whatever happens. But this is just not one of those where we see this as the end of Marvel or the most hated of hated movies against certain groups of people. Absolutely not. Don't see it.
On the flip side of this, at the same time, I don't have much to say about because there is SJW propaganded movies.
Sure.
And there has been
everywhere.
SJW propaganded, like Marvel. Oh my God! A few years ago, they were going way too far with the comics.
They were.
It was nuts. I don't have much to say about that because as a whole, as consumers, we are sending that message loud and clear with how we're spending.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters 2016, perfect example. Perfect example. Now, there was a lot of vitriol around that, too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we spoke in the way that Hollywood hears. I don't want to watch your stupid movie, and I'm not going to. By just not spending the money.
Simple enough.
Right. I mean, that's honestly, that's what they hear more than anything else. And I get it, because I am a white male. And so, I understand. I obviously am coming from a very different perspective from most of these guys who are just, foaming at the mouth. Sure. But there are times when I will look at things like, I don't think you need to do that. I don't think you need to go that route with this film or with that franchise. I don't think that's necessary. But yeah, there are companies and developers in Hollywood that are going a little nuts on this thing. And there's a whole discussion that just as we're having this one, at some point, you and I have talked about this in the past, we might have to have another discussion when it comes to manipulating
and control.
What's the term I'm looking for here? Taking advantage of this push for diversity.
Yeah.
In a way that is manipulating for profit.
Right.
Not because they care, not because they actually want to see actual diversity and they feel that it's important and needed, but for the the mighty dollar. That might be a conversation that we have to have down the road as well, because I'm seeing some of that too, and that's in some ways even grosser.
Yeah.
So, but right now I don't feel like I need to say much, because for the vast majority of it, for times when they're making these stupid decisions and changing things for not even compelling reasons. And again, we brought this up once in the past. A female lead in Star Wars for the new trilogy.
Right.
Brilliant idea.
Sure.
And the vast majority of people not only had no issue with this, but thought it was a great idea. We had 6 movies with male leads. It was great to come from a different perspective. That was a time where this makes absolute sense to do this. But yeah, again, I'll point at Ghostbusters 2016. That was dumb.
Yeah.
And that was done for a lot of different reasons, not just gender swap.
Sure.
But also because you're messing with Ghostbusters. That's just stupid.
That's some hollow ground. That's some hollow ground you're walking on.
That's. Oh, go ahead.
No, go on. No, I'm sorry. It's showing audiences obviously have the appetite for this, having a female lead. That's not the issue. Let's go back to Nintendo days. Look at when I found out. Oh man, Samus is a woman. Look, this is not a new concept, and I think it's something that audiences don't struggle to accept. I think the issue is when the politics get injected in things, and you can see it. You can feel that when the agendas are pushed and whatnot. That's something I ain't on board with at all. By any means, I can't stand that kind of stuff, frankly. And I think the less platforming we do from both ends of the spectrum, those who are producing, and then those of us who uptake or buff up these arguments or try to layer them up with even more stuff. It leads to some really disastrous stuff really, really quick. So. Yeah.
Well, it specifically in the case of Captain Marvel here, it's the MCU's 21st movie.
Yeah.
And it's the first one with a female lead.
Right.
And it's not like they took a character and gender swapped it.
Right.
Or created a new character. That her origin is no differently morphed than anyone else's in the MCU.
Yep.
And it's a smart idea. And the funny thing about Captain Marvel, and a lot of people say, "Oh, nobody likes her. She keeps getting rebooted." Yeah, she's not a huge seller, but neither were a lot of our current favorites. Besides the Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man and Captain America, they were B-listers at best in comic books. They've been around for a long time. They were legends as far as that was concerned, but they've never been huge selling comics until the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah.
And these were the MCU had those characters because the big movie developers didn't want them or just let the rights go, or never bought them to begin with. Again, Hulk being the exception. And Captain Marvel herself. I mean, the origin in the movie is very similar. Again, as similar as any of the others are. It's a little different, but the basic core of it is there. She's been around for decades. Yes, I know as Captain Marvel the last several years, but as Miss Marvel before. I mean, this is a character that is rooted in Marvel. They didn't just pull this out of nowhere and try to push a new character down your throat. And quite honestly, as they're moving forward, this is what I think would be a pretty important character to have around. And she can definitely lend a lot. As far as the likability thing goes, Captain Marvel is actually not a very liked character, but that's kind of intentional. I mean, she was the bad guy in the Civil War II arc.
There you go.
You're kind of made to not like her, and she's not a very likable person.
No,
but that's all. I think that I don't think they're moving forward not knowing that. I think they're well aware of that, and and you kind of get that a little bit in the film too. She's got a very stoic behavior, until later on, and I think that's intentional. I think people just need to and sometimes take away their preconceived notions, and if you have a general interest in this besides bitching and yelling about it, go see the movie.
Well said. Well said.
All right, now I think I'm done. And I'm sorry, that was more of a smorgasbord of feels and comments than anything. But I think I might have hit that on the head. Okay.
Right on.
Yeah, I think we did all right.
So
it was kind of all over the place, but I think we did okay.
Yeah. Well, what happens? You just have you jump in the swamp, man. You kind of. It's easy to lose.
And that's a big smelly swamp.
Yeah,
it's a nasty one.
All right. I'm gonna take off this hazmat suit now. And start.
Are you sure? You might want to wait until after this next story.
Oh, maybe. All right. Well, good point. There's still some radiation. Let me keep this on for a second.
Yeah, this could get a little ugly too.
All right. Looking at an adaptation,
and actually the one after. Now that I'm looking at
true. And
actually, now that I'm thinking about it, one after. Right. You might just want to keep that on up until the second to last story.
All right.
So
I'm staying suited up.
Yeah, it's getting it's gross.
All right, so so check this out. We got a straight to video. There's a Doom movie. This got a name, synopsis, release stills for it. So we got some info that hit this week about the upcoming development of this whole thing. It's going to be called Doom Annihilation. Now, this got delayed from the original plans. This is going to release as kind of like a CGI work for the film, but this is now going to be released this coming fall. In fact, a synopsis along with 3 images for this got dropped. I believe this was via bloodydisgusting.com.
Yeah, they're all over.
Yeah.
No one's from Bloody Disgusting. Can I read the synopsis for Doom Annihilation?
Please, go for it.
All right, I'm going to read.
We know where this is going.
Yeah. Doom Annihilation follows a group of space marines as they respond to a distress call from a base on a Martian moon. That wasn't the end of that sentence. Only to discover. Shut up. Only to discover it's been overrun by demon creatures who threaten to create hell on Earth. Okay, so there's a couple things wrong with this right away. How, if they're on a Martian moon, how is that going to create hell on Earth? Or is that not? Or are they saying that in a literal term where they're planning to actually get to Earth and cause hell? I don't know. But it sounds exactly like a Doom movie should.
Yeah.
So
it does. If I remember right, the way this started on the original Doom,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it was a whole Mars.
I think it's actually Mars and not a moon.
It was a Mars issue, and I think the shock was later it actually came to Earth. That was Doom 2.
I think that was Doom 2. But yeah, it's gates are open. They're messing around with gates and stuff and portals, and they open up a gate to hell.
That's the jar, and what a jar to open.
Yeah, be careful with those jars.
I couldn't help it. I try.
But so we got 3 images, and whoo, this. Yeah, you look like a B movie, all right. But that's not a bad thing. It's just this is straight to video.
Yeah.
Which means you'll probably find it on pick your favorite streaming, and it'll be there. I'm sure it'll do the tour here in the next year. This does not look very good though.
No.
This looks fan made. But they set out for this. I will poke fun at that just because you kind of need to poke fun at that. But and they actually said, look, this is not attached to the 2005 movie that came out with The Rock, which was a horrible piece of garbage. I don't know if that's good or bad for either one of these though. I mean, could this get lifted from it being a sequel, or could it drag down the other one? No, I don't think it. Yeah, maybe yes and no to both. Whatever. I mean, I'm going to watch this.
Sure.
It's Doom.
It's Doom.
It's Space Marines taking on demons on Mars. So, yeah, but don't. I guess what I'm saying is, don't have your hopes too high.
Right. Right. Don't have your hopes.
Because it looks bad.
No.
I mean,
rightfully so.
It's got that lighting when, like, as soon as sometimes when you see a movie and you can tell by the lighting.
Yep.
It's like, low budget.
You just know, and look,
yeah,
and it's already a ways away, but it's the legendary curse that so many of these movies find hard to break. It's the game to movie adaptation. It's rough, man. It's rough. So
yeah, but this is a little bit different because they're not trying to break any curse or anything. This is like you're at Chuck E. Cheese and you know everything's kind of crappy, but they're like, here's your next pizza anyways, though. Just eat your crappy pizza.
Like, all right.
You wanted crappy pizza. You're here at Chuck E. Cheese, so here it is.
I'll take my cardboard. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep.
No thanks, man. Dude, it's a bummer, man. Doom is just one of those I look back at. Sometimes when I have this as part of my playlist to just work music, the Doom 1 soundtrack. Dude,
are you serious?
I'm serious. It's one of my playlists. Legendary stuff. Like you hit the stuff after like intermission and some of like the later maps. That's just awesome. Like the Doom has made such an enduring legacy. I mean, down to the gameplay, the soundtrack. I mean, it's. I see why it still occupies this kind of space today, and why people every now and then still poke, about a movie or something else. It's an awesome concept. It was an awesome game. It's still an awesome game, and it had a mean soundtrack to it. So, love it.
Are you talking about the original Doom or the remake?
Doom 1.
The reboot.
The original Doom.
Wow. All right.
Classic, dude.
I'll check out that soundtrack.
I'll have to give you. There's also if you're into like remix themes, there are some very, very good Doom metal themes out there, redone with like full instruments and guitars and drums. It's real good. So cool. All right, this
here we go.
This looks like I'll be skipping over Doom, but I'm not going to be skipping over this one. This is in regard to a series that has been in peril.
Zip that hazmat suit right back up. Put that helmet on. Here we go.
This is all about Star Wars Episode 9 and some comments Mark Hamill made about the new Star Wars trilogy. So, Episode 9 has wrapped up principal photography, and Mark recently did an interview with Den of Geek. He talked a bit and made some comments about his personal feels for the new trilogy when it came to dealing with the OG cast. I just want to take his quote here, and I want to read this directly. This is Mark Hamill saying, "I just thought Luke's never going to get to see his best friend again. You look at it in a self-centered way. I said that it was a big mistake, that those three people would never reunite in any way. I guess I was wrong because nobody seems to care. I have to stipulate that I care, but it didn't really seem to affect the larger audience. Luke, Han, and Leia, will never be together again, and I'll probably never get to work with Harrison again. Then the second thing was that they killed me off. I thought, oh, okay, well, you should push my death off to the last one. That's what I was hoping when I came back. No cameos in a run of the trilogy contract. Did I get any of those things? Because as far as I'm concerned, the end of 7 is really the beginning of 8. I got one movie. They totally hornswoggled me."
Yeah. Man. He's not wrong about any of it.
He's not. And this is right in line with, Hamill has been openly vocal even before the release of Episode 8. About his disappointment with the direction of Luke, with where things went there, with a lot of things he expected would happen plot-wise that just never unfolded. but that he still soldiered on with and got in there, and man, God bless him, did his part.
He did, and I remember we even talked about that during the review, even when we were still little Star Wars drunk.
Yeah, we had the goggles still.
We hadn't quite embraced that what we saw was a giant steaming pile of shit.
It was so hard. It was so hard to do, though.
But we had heard that Mark Hamill was really not happy,
right,
with what they had him do in 8, and he did. He soldiered through. I think that alone gives him the best performance in that film.
Yeah.
There are rumors coming out now that his place in 9 is going to be a glorified cameo. Boy, all right. See you later, Star Wars. You had a good run. That's for sure, up until the end there. Because that's what you're going to be saying.
Yeah. Rough.
All right. Yeah.
Rough.
When I talk to people about this, and I talk about J.J. Abrams, I say two things. I know J.J. Abrams is trying his best to make the best movie he can.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm not totally sure if he knows how to make it right.
With considering what he has to deal with, man.
Well, and just some of his choices. But I mean, this definitely doesn't make me feel better about it.
No.
A lot of people. I've heard from a lot of people who do care that they never got to see the shot with all three of them together. I actually was not. I didn't care about that so much. I was cool with not seeing it because I could understand, especially if they're all separated. Like, I mean, if Leia and Han are together, and then it's a lot easier.
Right.
But they're not.
Right.
And I was okay with how 7 ended, as the whole thing was that you needed the payoff in 8, and that's what we didn't get it.
Right.
We didn't get the payoff in 8. But that being said, the shot of getting all three of them together with Chewie and R2 and C3, I could understand why a lot of people would have wanted that. I don't blame anyone for that, but I was never part of that camp. But as long as it made sense, and it clearly did not make sense to go down the route that they did. So, of course, as we found out, that there was no plan. The plan was to have these directors make their individual films without an overarching story in a trilogy. That was really mapped out.
Right.
So they just J.J. Abrams had something put together, but they just let Rian Johnson just do what you want. So, and he did, and he certainly did. So yeah, all we can do is hope. We can hope that 9 will do what J.J. Abrams has set out to do, which is put an end not only to this trilogy, but to the whole Skywalker saga.
Yes.
I'm not sure how you do that with Carrie Fisher passed away and you're only using old footage that you recorded for other movies.
Beats me.
And you killed off Luke. I'm not sure how you do this. All right, yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Good luck. Good luck, because if you do this wrong, you might as well have just taken $4 billion of Disney's money and flush it down the toilet.
It's just the axe to Star Wars. That's all.
Yep, only the biggest franchise ever.
Golly. Oh, crazy stuff, man. Rounding out our news here in the movie front, we have we talked about this before. This is for the Middle Earth stuff, the Lord of the Rings.
No, sir.
Amazon show. I'm jumping over something key though. I need to.
Oh, okay.
I need
to. My bad.
No, sorry. No, it's my bad because I actually jumped ahead with this one, but I do want to hit the. I need a second out of the swamp. Hold on a minute.
Okay. All right. I can understand that. All right.
Before I jump back in. No, it's all good. This is about the Amazon release. So. They recently released some social media sites for the upcoming Lord of the Rings series, but this week we got some details on, or at least as to when this is going to be taking place in the world of Middle Earth. So the TV show itself is going to be taking place during Middle Earth's Second Age. This is the era a little bit before the films, but which takes place during the films. The films are during the Third Age. So most notably, the Second Age is when the rings came into play in the first place. Sauron came into power, and then he was defeated by the Last Alliance. So. Cool. Doesn't mean that necessarily we're gonna see all that in this show. I mean, the Second Age lasted, good lord, like 3,500 years. But this does confirm that the show is going to take place before all the prior movies and all the major books and all that stuff. So there's been an interactive map pushed out with this, showing, and I'm going to butcher this, Numenor?
I think that's the best you could do with it.
Numenor, that's a sunken city during the films, which did sink due to the activities there during the Second Age. So if you're big into Tolkien, if you're big into Lord of the Rings, well, it might be an early Christmas present.
Maybe not.
Or maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah. I don't think we're even going to see it this year like they'd originally planned. I think we're looking at 2020. I hope that this takes place at the end of the Second Age, and we actually do get to see the conflicts. We get to see the control from the ring. We get to see Sauron just being the evilest bastard he is. I hope we get to see that. But even if we don't, even if this just takes place in the Second Age, hundreds, maybe even thousands of years before all that, and it's just a good neutral area to have a Middle-earth Lord of the Rings TV show, I'm good with that too.
Right.
So far, I'm liking what they're doing with this stuff. I do hope that we get that, though. I think if you're going to make a show, and you are sinking the money and time into this that Amazon is, giving us the conflict at the end of the Second Age would be the best way to go, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It also has the most familiarity. People know the name Sauron. That you can get Gandalf in there. You can get a lot of the elves in there that people know. But you're gonna get an opportunity to see this. You're going to get the chance to see that fantasy world. I honestly, dude, I'm a little surprised.
I'm just saying personally, I'm fine with the trilogy being the representative work. That's not to say I don't want to see a further show or anything. I don't think it belongs, but the original trilogy, I just think that's awesome.
I'm just as shocked to hear you say that as your previous statement, because I mean you're huge into medieval fantasy stuff.
I am.
And you're not chomping at the bit for this?
It's cool. I'm not going crazy.
All right. Well, that's why Isaac and I are going to do reviews.
All right. Deal. Deal.
Which was already the plan, but no, yeah, Isaac's going nuts over this stuff. But cool. He's a huge Lord of the Rings fan. And by the way, for any big Lord of the Rings fans, I apologize. I wrote the description for this piece, and yes, I know there were 10,000 other things that I could have referenced as far as locations and names and such for the Second Age. I'm not that big of a person, and when I was researching that, I was like, you know what? Best to just skim by this than to even try to reference a lot of this stuff. So I thought it was best to just keep it broad brushes.
Help me out here. How much of if you happen to know, how much of this was brought up from Tolkien's extra appendices or things
I believe that's where the majority of it comes out.
Interesting. That's really interesting, because when I think back to all this, I'm sort of out of frame with ages and jump. I mean, there was a time when I really read into it and really looked carefully. I hardly remember it now. I'd really have to brush up before checking this out, but
I felt accomplished that because I knew there were 4 ages, and
you beat me.
Well, that's about it. That's about as far as it went for me, because I knew there was the first age, and then the second age, which leads into the third age, which is where the movies take place, and then from that you have the age after, which the movies reference that the third age of man is over.
Sure.
And they reference that, so that means that there's obviously a fourth age. So I knew that much. And I knew that one age ended with the war against Sauron, and that led into the next. But yeah, that was about. There's so much though. It's crazy.
It's dense.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this, especially because I did not hop onto the Game of Thrones bandwagon when it came out.
I take this over Game of Thrones.
I think I would too, and not, and again, it's not because it's not my flavor. It's just that this is more my flavor. This kind of high fantasy, medieval fantasy stuff, which obviously Game of Thrones is, but this is more kind of my style.
Sure.
Hobbits and dwarves and elves and orcs and wizards, and it's a bit more fantastical, I think. So
cool. No, man, that's one worth putting on the radar. Sonic Live-Action. We got a leak from. This is looking terrible. Okay, I didn't like first images of this when it first hit at all. The whole legs bugged me out a lot. Like, and that's all we saw before. And then we saw the shot of him on a bridge with his legs hanging over the bridge, like with the Sonic was here thing. That looked weird too. And now we got the total leak for this. The look for the upcoming. It's just, dude, I can't. As a Sonic fan, I am so bummed out by this.
See, you're not wrong here.
I am just. It's ridiculous. Like,
I can't imagine. This is just like I was commenting on this before. I don't know where these people come from, where they think that this is the way to go. I that's pretty much all I got, man. I mean, you're the Sonic fan. I know what I know of just being a gamer and growing up with Sonic being around constantly, or should I say every couple of years. This is wrong. They've got it wrong.
I don't even know where to start, man. I mean, there's a little bit of nightmare fuel in there,
a little bit, yeah,
and some other, yeah. It's just looking at this for the overall aesthetic, and then what we're gonna have. You can't sell a Sonic anything without an awesome looking Sonic. I mean, he is the core of this franchise. Period. I mean, despite Eggman and Tails and everything else and all the other cool supporting characters, like this is the main dude. If you can't get into that, I don't see it. There's just little I could look at besides it's no thanks.
The eyes are wrong. Where's his neck? Why doesn't he have a neck? Yeah. I mean, if we're in Fantasyland where we have a hedgehog with arms and legs, why did you stop it? Well, we have to keep him kind of like a hedgehog, and he can't have a neck. No, you give him a neck. Why does he have white hands and not gloves?
He could. It's kind of funny because of the look. He could get away with not having a neck, in like the oldest Sonic stuff. Like I'm thinking back to Sonic 1, like one of the first pictures. He really didn't have a neck there too. But no one complained about that.
I'm complaining.
It's just. Except Chris.
Now you're back to being wrong.
Except Chris, because he's the one guy that will complain about Sonic not having a neck. But no,
I think he should have. I think he should have some kind of neck. I mean, who was he? Morty here? I mean,
something like that.
Yeah, it looks very unnatural. Which by the way, I mean, there's obviously they're obviously going to be very liberal with how natural it is. But I mean, they've taken this in the wrong direction. I mean, it's like it's almost realistic to the point is why does he have shoes and not pants?
Yeah.
And why does he have white hands and not gloves?
Yeah. I'm done. I'm done, man.
And
I don't even.
You're having a rough one here today. I don't know.
I'm done. I can't stand this.
You're not going to see it in November with
no.
Jim Carrey?
I don't. No, I can't do it, dude. I don't think I will. This is a skip. This is a skip.
Wow.
So.
All right, I'll see it.
This is from a guy that loves Sonic.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. Does it have a chance if they switch this up a little bit? If you see the first trailer and you're like, all right, maybe this could be okay.
Give me a trailer.
All right, you hold out for a trailer, but right now you're a no.
Right now I'm a no.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
Right now I'm a no. It's when I think this is one of those, in all likelihood, that I'll just wait for it to get on video. Like, or maybe, or watch, at some point. Sure. But to actually go out and see, I'll wait for the trailer. So.
He looks like a Muppet.
He does.
But he doesn't even look like a good Muppet.
He does.
Muppets have necks. So.
You and the necks.
Necks are important. It's where you breathe.
I don't think Knuckles had a neck either.
Well, yeah, but Knuckles doesn't have hands.
But Knuckles has other problems, so...
Yeah. Knuckles definitely got other issues.
Golly. So...
They're going to call him Nubbles.
Nubbles.
They'll have to have those hands amputated.
What's crazy is he can climb up walls with those.
Probably just from sticking his bloody, pussy hands on things. Sticks to the walls.
I don't understand how they're like, it's like they're floppy, but then he'll like punch a hole in a wall.
Right. Exactly.
Like, and I'm not talking about like punch a wall and leave like a miniature crater. I'm talking about you punch it and like you leave 2 like spike marks. Like that's just
right.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
No, wait until you see Knuckles and Two Tails in
Lord.
this movie.
Oh no!
You know what? Just to embrace it. All your favorite characters will be destroyed.
They will. I'm gonna have to at this point, dude. You know, look.
I had to with Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but that was actually worse because I actually had my hopes high from the first Mortal Kombat movie, only to have it destroyed. I mean, that was kicking a dead horse in the dust.
Good on you, Jim Carrey. You know, for
good luck.
Yeah, golly, I don't see it.
And Cyclops from the X-Men movies, he's in there too.
I don't see it. I just don't see it. So.
No, it's bad. It really is very bad. I think they did make some minor alterations from the horrible comments from the silhouette that we saw. By the way, you skipped the part where of this story where the original Sonic creator.
I did.
How do you pronounce this? Noya Naka? Did I get that right?
Yuji Naka?
Yuji Naka, okay. Commented about this on Twitter. Even he's pissed. He's like, what did you do? Actually, he says it in a very nice way, but he's like, how do you? I'm confused. How do you make this kind of decision as far as design? Which is a nice way of saying, hey, this is really bad.
Yeah. Now that's contrasted to the creator of Alita, who was ecstatic about the way his creation has been brought to life. You know, the big screen. Take notes on that. You know, huge difference. And of course, the Japanese, being the awesome people they are, they usually aren't gonna go out of their way to throw vitriol at you up front. Like you said, they have a very subtle way of saying you done goofed up.
Yeah, no, he was very respectful about it, professional even. But you still got it though. In fact, it was almost wordsmithing.
Yeah,
as far as just,
they will.
Wow, I mean that was very nice of you, but I can tell you hate this.
It's
unlike my wordsmithing, which is usually grunts and half words.
Yeah, I get it right.
That's about how I do it.
Okay. Oh Lord, but no, that's rough, man. This is off to a terrible start.
Yeah, it is.
We haven't even seen a trailer yet. So.
That's a shame.
It is. I go all the way back. I mean, Sonic franchise is something I was playing even back in 2nd grade. I always loved it when the new Sonic games came out in Genesis. Man, I was there. I remember how much I freaked out when Sonic and Knuckles came out and you could put a cartridge on top of another cartridge. That was like, what? And then have an extended game. That blew my mind. It was so fun. But oh well. Dude, the most recent Sonic Mania, that game was awesome. You could clearly see how much of an input the Sonic fans had on that one. It was just so well done. So it's even after all these years, it's a series that still hasn't lost its touch.
In contrast, you can see how much fan input went into this live-action movie.
Yeah. No, thank you. No siree, Bob.
Left alive.
Pretty much. Hey, is that a new rating? Can we use in this channel?
Oh boy, I think if we ever hit a 0.5 or something or a 1,
left alive.
you call it a left alive.
I dig it. Oh man, that puts us right in the lane of gaming news. Everybody, I'm probably gonna clip right on through these. Now, a few of these pieces I do want to note, especially this first one about Overwatch. This was right at the end of last month. This isn't fresh at the top of this month, but I totally missed it. I usually like to talk a little about the new character releases when they come out. There's a brand new support character, a healer support called Baptiste, on the way. As in Overwatch style, you can go find the origin trailer for this character. Blizzard love layering up a little bit of story behind each shooter. It's kind of cool to have somebody besides Mercy in this role now. And again, looks fun, looks cool, in the same style that Overwatch's been laid out so far. This is only a title that I'll jump into every now and then. I got a big group of my friends play it. Usually if we're all together, this is the thing that we'll play at some point or another. But yeah, they're still adding characters after all this time. And they still look cool. So, yeah. Do you even have Overwatch on your Blizzard lineup, Chris?
I don't have a Blizzard lineup.
No, it's just off your computer.
No, what I've got right now is I have Diablo 3 on here, which reminds me, by the way, Doom Eternal's done.
Yeah,
that's a thing. Keep an eye out for that.
Cool. About D3. Now Blizzard give you a queue. Now you don't have any other Blizzard games in that queue. No.
I mean, well, obviously, not only my computer but my whole life was consumed with one of them.
Yeah.
For
Wow.
several years. But, that's all I got. I got Doom on there. I considered Overwatch a couple years ago. My nephew still plays it. He plays that in Fortnite, and I'm sure he's probably going to be ditching one of them for Apex here soon. But I played it. I was actually, when I was over there last, we played some Overwatch a little bit. I played, I don't know, some giant guy in like a giant metal suit, and he had a huge shield. I don't remember his name. I played around with it a little bit. It's fine. It's actually a little bit more than I look for my first-person shooters. I don't need 10,000 different classes.
Right.
I think that I take a less is more approach. I think would be a way to put it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Never quite grasped me.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not, super into Overwatch. I do like the tank classes, of course, but it's just funny the success this game has found and how it kind of catapulted into competitive play for something that I think Blizzard meant to be a lot lighter. People picked it up like, hotcakes and went crazy with it. So, speaking of Doom Eternal, there's something sort of kind of Doom related, more shooter related. This popped up. I didn't even see this before. There's a trailer for a game that's on the way for this summer, 2019. It's called Wrath, Aeon of Ruin. This is from 3D Realms. They're behind Duke Nukem, Max Payne, and Quake and stuff like that. This is
with a name like that.
Yeah, this heralds back to the old time shooter. Like the first couple of seconds of gameplay I saw this, as far as when they got into strafing and stuff like that, it screamed Quake. In fact, I was wondering, I'm like, wait, are Quake hands behind it? Sure enough, So, this one kind of came out of left field. If you're looking for an old school style shooter, much in the spirit of old school Quake, Duke Nukem, Doom, and stuff like that, this might be your ticket. Keep an eye on it.
What is this going to be, free?
I doubt it. I think it's going to be Steam.
Okay. I just not that it's it's not the most important thing, but this graphics on this look.
Oh yeah,
way
outdated.
It's
dated. I know that decision is purposeful. So we say in the spirit. I mean,
yeah, I guess.
I mean, old. Yeah. Especially that shotgun. That's right adequate. With the pixelated shells and oh gosh, yeah. But there's still a market for it. So, actually, this is gonna. I think this is gonna be on everything. Not just PC, but Xbone, PS4, and Switch. But I think those released
your PS3, your PS2.
Yeah, your PS2,
your original Xbox.
This could run on PS2. I'm willing to bet it could. I'm willing to bet. It looks rough.
Your old computer that you have in the closet with Windows 98 on it.
Yeah, it'll run. Yeah, with that Surface Pack you've been waiting to upgrade.
I don't mean to poke fun of it because it's fine. I think I want to look at it, but I was just a little shocked. Typically nowadays, first-person shooters are gorgeous.
Yeah, they're really polished.
I mean, the style there is fine, but I was a little taken back.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of consoles, I got to point out a funny dud, and maybe not so funny if you're a PS4 owner, for Anthem. Look, if you've been tuned in to...
Hold on, let me get my bib on.
Yeah, here we go.
All right.
If you've been looking at some Anthem news from afar, and BioWare has had a statement or two out on this, there has been a critical error where Anthem has actually been, crashing PS4s. You just shut down. I'm not talking about an app close, your whole PS4 is down. It's freaked people out, rightfully so. Hard stops like that to your PS4 just aren't... That stuff's not good for the integrity of your system. Use it for the integrity of your hard drive. And if anything, the most shocking part about this was when brought up, came up on a Q&A live stream. the response from BioWare was, this is retweeted as well, that it's perfectly safe to play Anthem on PS4. A lot of people have not bought this, though, and Sony themselves have been handing out refunds for Anthem. So,
yeah, the Sony discount thing, I guess, is a pretty big deal. I did not realize that Sony is so staunchly against giving out discounts for anything. But yeah, there's like, you're having a problem with Anthem? Get here, take your money, get out of here. we want you to have your PS4 working to play other games. Look, how do they not know that this would exist? I understand. Right. I understand that, you know, you're going to come out with a game and bugs are going to be found, especially in an expansive game like an MMO. But this is just lack of playtesting.
It is.
There's no other way to look at that. How do they not know that this bug existed? That is ludicrous. And you're busting. In some cases, people have reported that this is ruining their PlayStation. Like, it's done. It's completely bricked. Most of it is it's shutting down, and sometimes it doesn't restart right away, or it shuts down your system just like if you had a power outage.
Yeah,
that's what most of them are. But some people have come out and said, "Yeah, my PlayStation's done."
That's terrible.
Yeah, Jesus, EA, you have all the money.
This is what happens with the thing that I keep hearing is, even though this had a 6-year development cycle from BioWare, it shows it still needed more time. Still needed more time out the gate. I know EA are in this treadmill of pushing games, push. It schedules, timetables, please the investors, so on and so forth. But this is a hallmark case of where I really wish the studio had its full time to do its work that it wanted to before a release got pushed.
Can I put that in perspective?
Yeah.
I want to put that just a little bit in perspective. So they started developing this game during the last president's first term.
It's crazy.
And this is what we got. 6 years. And they couldn't run this thing on some PS4s.
It's rough.
I don't.
No.
All the money though, Ian. They have all the money. All the money. They've got that Madden money.
They do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And they've got some of that Battle Royale money too.
Jeez. So why can't?
I look at it. Of course, EA, the biggest thing they have running for them is sports, but Apex Legends. That's what I was pointing out with the whole Battle Royale deal. That was
that EA's?
Yeah, that was a surprise hit for them. That's them.
No,
they have been making hand over fist out of that. That's their big cash cow.
Oh my god!
So that's how they live, man.
Nobody learns, man. Nobody learns.
But Battle Royale. Don't you want to play Battle Royale?
Don't you want to play Battle Royale? Because if you keep playing EA games, you may not have played anything on your PlayStation for much longer. Oh no! Is it really an EA game?
Yes, God, it is.
Damn! And people are just gobbling it up.
Yep. Looks like they're not going to be going away anytime soon, Chris.
No. Doesn't look like it.
And you know what? A lot of people immediately posted this fear. And, BioWare's been responding, there's no signs of this happening. It's not so on and so forth. But a lot of people have been, and they openly said we hope EA doesn't shut you down. Now, because they would be the latest on the hit list of vampiric practices. Golly, man.
I don't care. I used to care, but if BioWare is coming out and saying there's no problem, as they're stuffing the corpse in their closet, nothing wrong here, then you know what, BioWare, you deserve your fate.
Oh.
Meanwhile, you're trying to play Anthem on your computer.
I gotta highlight this. I really am. Look, I just made it. I just made it in the end game. The buggy stuff I've run into it's actually pretty funny. You know, there have been times where my XP doesn't count. There's a lot of times where my sound just dies, where I just don't have it. You know, as far as getting, and bear in mind, you know, a DC in the middle of a mission is terrible. You cross your fingers. Usually I've been able to get back in, but if you don't, you're messed out of that or messed out of everything. You gotta, you know, recycle stuff all over again. So it has, it's been a bit of, I feel at least, it's been a bit of a task, my free time, to get where I am while trying to, you know, get stuff out and produce for it. I got a lot of stuff in the pipe. I've actually got here on my timeline that I want to be releasing for it. And you know what? I'm trying to be as fair as possible about this, and I think trying to be graciously patient about this. Back in the day, games like Ragnarok Online that had persistent bugs that just didn't go away. You know, I've encountered this kind of stuff before. I am on good faith trying to give BioWare some time here. They laid out a 90-day plan, although I'm not going to look at that 90 days as the end all to judges. I want to see what's going to happen in less than that. What happens in about a month? Where is this? You know, I keep an eye on the live streams, where stuff's happening, where things are going for this. I am concerned that even with the stuff that we have on the board for it, with literally like the 90-day schedule, that there's still some uncertainty and lack of direction about the balance of stuff and loot. Look, I want to talk about this too. This is key. This just got patched out. Did you hear about the level 1 rifle bug?
No.
The level 1 Defender rifle, it didn't look like it on paper. You look at the stats. But it was actually one of the strongest weapons in the game. It was better than the Masterwork stuff. Level 1 Defender rifle. To which eventually I work here and say, yeah, it's an error.
I mean, do they have quality assurance?
And that's, you know, what's so rife when I'm noticing about this is just the lack of playtesting stuff. And it's just a lot of things that I'm shocked for a studio like BioWare to skip over. It just shows this is the area where time seems to have been skimped. And look, let's go back even further than that. It reminds me, back before Diablo 3 came out, do you remember the first trailer for Diablo 3 that we saw?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, who doesn't? Everyone today still asks for, where's that game? That's the game I want to play. That's the Diablo game I want to play. We have those issues rife in Anthem because some things we were promised that didn't happen. I get it. Development changes. Your scope changes as you narrow stuff down. But you had the idea of an organic living city. The first look we ever saw at Anthem, there was a walking strider. That was, the striders are kind of things you launch from. It was kind of like in the distance, like walking through the city. The way you got missions kind of popped up, like an NPC would kind of come out of this crowd, talk to you about a potential contract, and if you wanted to sign on, you could do it as like a merc, and you know you could take it. So many of those ideas that were placed up front, we have not seen in the final game.
No, you're not going to see it,
and you're not going to. That's not going to happen. I understand that at this point, and that on its own merit is, I think, unfortunate enough. But I think axing those things and at least keeping enough of a core experience to try to keep as bug-free as possible and things like that would be key. I think that type of QA and quality testing is minimum. And, you know, one or two issues, look, I get it. A rifle's bugged out. It's not the end of the world for me. Okay, stuff happens. You screw up your balance. Fine. There's a weird situation where there's a bug on the other side of the map. Okay. But when we go into the grounds of, as you were saying, you know, PS4 is getting bricked, you know, difficulties to gain XP, weird mission starts, you know, bugged out things there. There's a whole litany of things. And
the ability to chat with other people.
Not there. It's just, it has such an uphill battle. This is a title that, man, I want BioWare to win this so bad. I really do. And I really want to see after about a month from now where this ends up. Are they going to do? I don't know, man. I want to give them good faith, and I want to give them a chance to. Me and some of my buddies who are playing, we joke around. We're kind of the silent minority about this. We don't rage post. We don't, you know, make outrage things and, you know, go crazy about ladies. But people know that it's everywhere. It's out there. It's all over YouTube and everywhere else. We're not going to add to the noise around it. We're trying to play through it, enjoy the game. I'm finally seeing a little bit of in-game. I want to see what some of the loot is like. I think I'm right on the verge of being able to really give it that, you know, full objective opinion, especially by that point. my kind of month barrier, would have at least passed for those first 30 days with block. But it's rough, man. It's got an uphill battle too, and I'm telling you, I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Can't. Sad. It's really unfortunate too, because
it is
my mech itch, dude, and like sci-fi, like exosuits and that kind of deal. I need a game like that. I need something like that to play and invest in. I was really looking forward to this being that. I hope it can still be that. So BioWare, I'm cheering for you, but we'll see where this goes. So
yeah, I'm jeering for you. Woo!
So oh well, man. Oh well. Time will tell. Not much time from now either. So. Last but not least, we talk about this a lot, and I've glazed over it a few times, but I just want to hit this in detail for a second. That's the EVO 2019 lineup. EVO is scheduled for August 2nd this year, so let it be known, get everything ready. This is the Super Bowl for me, I know, and a couple of others. Don't try to get a hold of me that day or that weekend. It's a super important weekend. We have 9 key titles that are going to be there. I think some of the first ones will not surprise any of you.
It's just awesome because you went right into WrestleMania mode. It's going to be 9 titles. 9 titles, brother.
First, triple elimination. No, we got Street Fighter V. That surprises no one. You could even make an argument that EVO built itself on the foundations of Street Fighter. Even before EVO, when you had it was called like Brawl at the Bay, or I could be butchering that name. Any Cali fans or others, excuse me if I did. But even before EVO, you had the SF scene that really helped push this. So I think it's a shoe-in for a Street Fighter title to be in the main lineup. Smash Brothers Ultimate, that's another obvious shoe-in. This has had a lot of success on Switch. People are loving it. People are loving the DLC and all that good stuff.
Aren't they the dirty little kids, though, at an EVO?
Oh, that's the joke. Everyone jokes about how Smash players smell.
Over in the corner.
Over in the corner.
What's your Smash?
So the Smash people are getting in on it. You know what? And I keep saying it. I'm thrilled that they won't have to be on CRTVs, that they've stepped up with flat screen tech and everything else, and they'll be on regular monitors. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are bummed out about Smash Melee not being a part of you. But, dude, this goes back to about 2013. The whole controversy with Nintendo debating, we don't know if we want our game to be, and they almost killed it. They almost killed the whole Evo thing for Smash before it even got started, but now they support it openly. They see how popular it is. A lot of people are going to miss Smash Melee because that's what they're just so used to. But hey, I'd encourage you guys, look, Smash Ultimate looks like a lot of fun. I like watching it played. Hey, welcome to the current stuff, and I really hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, cool. Tekken 7, another obvious shoe-in. This has had, from the weird and wacky DLC releases, Noctis from main character from Final Fantasy 15, Negan from The Walking Dead. Each season gets weirder and weirder for characters I never thought would show up in Tekken, but has not slowed down this game's popularity. It's been a lot of fun to watch on streams and just and live in general. I always say it, whoever did the slow motion thing for this Tekken needs a raise. There are so many fun moments, like before like a KO score, that's just like, oh my god, who's gonna get it? Who is gonna get it? Or like interrupting, rage drives and stuff. It's cool. It's great. I love it too. If you can't tell, yeah, I adore it, and I can't wait to see it played here. Dragon Ball FighterZ, for anime fighting games, this one is the only thing that stopped it is Toei Animation themselves, shooting themselves in the foot by.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Were you talking about that?
I did. I
Okay.
mentioned it. And it's crazy in my mind. I mean, so the big events it's still at. They recently finished off the Dragon Ball World Tour. This was featured there. It's at big events like Combo Breaker and Evo and stuff like that. But what a lot of people are upset about is that FighterZ has struggled in a lot of smaller tournaments and events because Toei Animation is coming down and hammering people about, the rights and you can, and they just shut down events. And you have a lot of people who are really into fighters and play this as their pro game, saying this is frustrating. I just took time out of work, time out of my life, everything else to make it to this tournament, and I fly and I get canceled and I get screwed over. So I actually know a lot of friends in my circle who have moved away from DB, not because they don't like the game, but just because saying, hey, I can't run this stable on the tournament circuit. Good buddy of mine has come over to Tekken because he's just like, I know that's going to be there, and I can, count on that, for events and stuff. So I'm happy to see this at EVO. It's a hype game to see played at a high level. It's insanely fast-paced. I just wish Toei would just stop monkeying around and just let it be and just run wild, because it can. Soul Calibur 6. This one's right up there with Tekken for me. How excited I am to see this played. I have not been watching as many of the live streams as I like to. I think for it, by all accounts and definitions, I think this is going to be hype to see at EVO. I can't wait to see who's going to make it in the finals. What are going to be the characters and big picks and stuff like that? Because it's one thing, the stuff that you run into, I think, online, but once you start seeing stuff fleshed out and where characters go, you see what's up. Early prediction, I have a hard time seeing some Ivy's not making it really far. I think she's going to rock the house. I think people are going to have, for the most part, I think people are going to have Nightmare's number, though he's going to still, I think, make some solid progress. There's been some big changes recently, the current patch and all that good stuff. There's some weird mechanical stuff that happens here and there, but it's still exciting enough for this to be anyone's game. I think this is going to be one to watch if you tune into EVO. So, speaking of one to watch, another one that you gotta put in the list, Mortal Kombat 11. Another reason I highlight this, besides us being excited here and talking about it, something that's been happening with EVO that didn't happen in the past is unreleased games officially making it to the EVO roster. Now, it's a cool thing that MK's got that much rep to even not be out and already be in EVO. That's awesome. But it's just a different precedent than in the past. Before you'd have games that were released out for a bit, or their first month or two maybe, and then they make the EVO titling. So that's a big deal. EVO is effectively going to be a huge exhibition for this, and I love the early days of fighting games, man. People are all over the place. They're trying to establish what's the thing to run, what's the stuff to do, and with MK, it's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. So. Also, unsurprising list, Guilty Gear is out. Not happening this year. Blaze Blue Cross Tag. There might be like a Guilty Gear side tournament. I don't know. Blaze Blue, I'm probably not going to catch the whole tournament for this. I'm definitely going to tune in for some of it. I'm a huge Blaze Blue fan. I own Cross Tag. I don't play it a whole bunch, though. But awesome game to watch in action. Arxis have been just killing it. Here come the two surprises. Under Night in Birth. ST, also known as Unist. This hit me out of the blue. It's from the creators of Melty Blood. Those who play Anime Fighters, you guys are probably familiar with this. It has a hardcore community that supported it and has stayed by it for a long time, and finally they get the EVO stage. I don't know what to say about this game, because I don't know anything about it. I just know it's an anime fighter, and I'm really surprised to see it in the Big Nine listing. So... and last but not least, I didn't expect this to make it in at all. And I just found out about the game not long ago. Samurai Showdown 2019, or Sam Show, people love to call it. Wow. Again, another game that's not out yet, making it into EVO Prime Time. I don't know. I will know by the end of this month once I play it at PAX, and I will have more of an opinion on it. But, man... it's exciting. I mean, Samurai Showdown always had some cool stuff like the parries and like disarming your opponent and things like that. So this could get crazy, especially like for 2D gameplay. But I don't know, man. There's some wild cards in here. So, but out of this whole list, Chris, I know what you're going to tune into. What I hope you do. So,
yeah, Tekken.
Because you main Negan, yeah.
Yeah, no, obviously Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love your Evo. Evo's fun. Yeah.
Cool.
No. That's sorry, I get roar in my lap here, just being an asshole. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate and respect the fact that gaming, or at least a section of gaming, has gotten to this point as far as competition and exposure. Especially because it is fighting games.
Yep.
But yeah.
cool.
I don't normally watch. You'll probably have to remind me that weekend.
I will.
And, not be in the back of the head. Like, hey, your Mortal Kombat's coming on. So I can watch the guy who's the blue furry beat everybody. Like
Sonic Fox again.
And this is what he does. He just beats everybody every year. So
I wonder what he's going to be playing. He was playing Sonya last I looked up. By the way, Sonic Fox was eliminated at the in Dragon Ball. At the what was it? The Dragon Ball World Tour. They were doing the Red Bull sponsored thing. And there was a slight irony to that because he was saying coming into it he didn't believe any of the JP players could stop him, and it was a JP guy that did. I don't think that knocks from his skill or talent at all. You know, Sonic Fox has still got, man, I mean, he's done stuff that it takes players years, like Alex Valle, one of the oldest Street Fighter players, years to accomplish. And he's got a lot ahead of him. Are you going to have the bumps on the way and losses? Sure. You know, I'd hope so, or else you wouldn't be human. You'd be some kind of freak. I think he can bounce back from it. He didn't let it, shake him too much. And again, he's one of those rares that plays so many games. You know, I mean, like the guy, let's see, like what? Dragon Ball, Skullgirls, Mortal Kombat, like I believe like Guilty Gear, other anime games. List goes on. Soul Calibur. Yeah. He'll be entering 5 and 6 things, and he'll be an MK for sure. So
I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you actually say earlier that there was a fighting game called Melty Blood?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I thought that's what I heard, but I was going to ask you after the show, but since we're still talking.
It's a thing.
That, sir, is another Google search.
Yeah.
What is Melty Blood?
You sure you want to know? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I do.
It's, Melty Blood has been, I like to nickname it the underground anime fighter because it's had, like, not controls.
How underground can it be if it's an Evo?
That's the thing. Well, here's the thing. Bear in mind, Melty Blood itself isn't getting in. It's this new title that is. And I highlight this because Melty Blood itself, to my knowledge, has never been in the main lineup of Evo. But knowing that something developed by that same community is going to be here, it's a pretty big deal. It was always because of how, I think, mechanically and technically sound this one was. There was mechanics that people have loved for years, a lot of, complexities and stuff like that that they've sworn to, and that have made it, a solid fighter. So I think it's going to bring something to the table that Guilty Gear and other games like that, don't have. As always with anime fighters, you have to have pretty much just twitch, speed, reactions. These games play at just mad pace. So, but I don't know, man. This goes all the way back to the early 2000s. When I attended like some of my first conventions, and hey, I can say this: it was always there. It was always there. Like Melty Blood was always it was never in a main tournament, but there was always a group off on the side. They were playing it, so I get it.
Smash people, they're in the other corner.
Exactly. It's one of those stars that's just like waiting to rise. Like they've always been there, but they've never had the stage, and now they're going to.
Since the early 2000s, they're still waiting for their chance.
Still waiting.
They're going to keep waiting. From what I just saw. Yeah. I'm sure, you like what you like. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just being a smart ass.
Oh, man. But that is going to bring it to the end of our gaming roundup, the end of our movie and show roundup, and it's time for an info minute. Chris, what's the nicest thing somebody's ever done for you?
Oh my God. You should have told me that you were going to ask me that before the show. I could actually have an answer for you right now.
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Or just, not even nicest. Something just really cool that just kind of blew you back. Like, wow, thanks.
Oh, well, you know what? I think I'll have to go with the nicest, actually.
Okay.
A few years ago, little backstory. A few years ago, I got really sick. Nearly died and all that, and my mom took care of me. That was pretty nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's
and that's
nice.
Something good that somebody did for me.
Fair. More than fair.
I was bedridden for the better part of a year, so. See,
I actually didn't hear that side of it. That was a whole year. Daggum, man.
And for the most part, yeah, it was about 10 months.
Wow. Whenever I hear about just straight up good, just decent acts. Cool. It's always something that just you say, yeah, it's one of those kind of like I got some hope in humanity, left. But sometimes these stories are just flat out cool. This is something that happened literally just now, as of March 8th. Reporting this. This was a returned lottery ticket. Anything, and the best part, it was a winning ticket, a $273 million jackpot ticket.
What?
This was in New Jersey. So this is a guy in New Jersey. He's, as of now, he is taking in his fortune of $273 million. His name is Mike Werski. This is someone who recently struggled, some issues that happened on the job. Apparently he'd been divorced recently, a lot of things happening, but he purchased lottery tickets. He was at a Quick Check supermarket near the NJ border with Pennsylvania. So he was saying that he got distracted by his cell phone, and after he purchased, he left his tickets behind. He said, I put him down, I put my money away, and he did something with his phone, and he just walked away. So then it got to the lotto drawing itself, and a bit before the drawing, he looked for hours, just scouring where I put my tickets, where'd they go, and then he went back to the store to see if they had them. I mean, of course, who'd expect it by that point, right? So, to his shock, somebody had actually handed them in the day before, and the cashier actually got on him and made him explain what made him bet the tickets were there to even come back in the first place. And once he did that, she actually handed them to him, and he walked out. So, fast forward a bit, Sunday night during a snowstorm, he finally got around to checking his numbers, looking at it, because of course you got time to claim this stuff. He realized he was holding the winning ticket. He remembered, if anything, just sitting and watching the TV just stunned, for about half an hour after that, just like trying to recount over what happened. I'm taking a quote from him here. He said, I just didn't believe that it was me after all these years of playing. I finally had something that said, you're a bigger winner than just $2. He spent $20 per week on lotto tickets on and off for many, 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 many years. So his thing is, he's like, look, I'm just thankful there's an honest person out there. I figured the tickets were gone. I had no hope. He's trying to find whoever this was that returned the tickets, and he said he wants to give him something. He's going to keep that private as to what, whether it's sharing the winnings or whatever else, but he's trying to find this guy. I don't think he's had any luck yet, but it is important to note, too, that the store that sold this ticket, the grocery store Quick Check, did get a $30,000 bonus for selling the winning ticket itself. So, man, somebody doubles back and gives you a win. Yeah, just wow.
Good on him.
Like, that's amazing to me. So, way to go. I've never been a lotto guy, myself or anything. I do have some funny stories from my own family of lottos nearly hit, and tickets lost. I'll go into that maybe another time. But still, this is cool to hear. So,
yeah.
Other than that brings us to the end of the show. Hey, it's been a long one. Thank you for those of you who are still tuned in, who stayed here to listen to us. I really, really appreciate it. Hey, if it's hitting you, if it's striking you right, look, the likes, the subs, all that goes a really long way in helping us keep doing what we're doing. And of course, you can stay tuned right here in this channel for our Let's Plays, for our game reviews, our movie reviews, and much, much more stuff that you can catch here from me, from Chris, from Isaac, Jason, and everyone else. Well, I say everyone else, but that's like the whole team, basically.
That's the team, that's the crew.
So that is going to do it for us. Again, thank you all. Peace out. You have a good one. We'll catch you again soon. Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, or anything we go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but it'd be great if you could throw some support. You can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksawmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, dig up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.